Hemodialysis. Which drugs can be dialyzed, which cannot? You need to be sure. Salicylates can very much be dialyzed. Colchicine in acute gout. Never allopurinol or never a uricosuric drug like probenecid. Never give that. If you give that, it will suddenly change the uric acid levels. Any sudden change will worsen the gouty crystal precipitation. Hence, no allopurinol acutely, no probenecid acutely, only colchicine acutely, aspirin acutely, indomethacin acutely is what you are going to ultimately remember. Polymyalgia rheumatica. Have you heard this entity? It is the other end of the spectrum of which condition? Giant cell arthritis. It need to be differentiated from which another important entity? Polymyalgia rheumatica. Any other myositis like polymyositis, dermatomyositis, it has to be differentiated. How do you do that? In both the cases, patients have got weakness of proximal muscles, pain in the muscles, everything. CPK levels. A normal CPK is a feature of polymyalgia rheumatica. Elevated CPK is a feature of poly and dermatomyositis. So today only, doctor, if you did this wrong, going to go back. 12 hours of video is available for you on rheumatology in the video library. If you have any difficulty to trace where is that video, please give a call. Anytime I will answer. Where is the video located? Because learning is easy and in future it is going to be easier. Why? We will put a Wi-Fi transmitter transplanted. At the time of exam, all answers will be transmitted directly through Wi-Fi. So it directly into the brain and your job is only clicking the correct answer. Future learning is going to be easier, doctor. In our days, I still remember 1993 May, somebody said in Kakatiya Medical College, Warangal, Hurler syndrome is there in pediatric ward. Oh, all of us went on bikes to the where the hospital parked, ran as such Hurler baby is going to die, to see the umbilical herniation, whether corneal opacity is there or not and all. There were not the days of YouTubes, there were not the days of any video libraries. So now it is easy for you to learn. Only thing is whether that time, this time, it is that mental preparation to learn, crack the exam, that competitive spirit is same both the times. Polyarteritis nodosa is associated with hepatitis B antigenemia. It is usually very benign. If you give steroids, it will wonderfully polyarteritis nodosa, yeah. Now, coming to the rheumatoid arthritis, it can lead to amyloidosis because it is chronic inflammation. Analgesic nephropathy, because to kill pain we give drugs and drugs will ultimately kill the patient, painkillers. It is immune complex mediated. It won't lead to fibrosis unlike systemic sclerosis. Now T wave is normally less than 1 millivolts, very standard ECG question. What is the effect of digoxin on ECG? Favorite question of examiner. ST depression, T wave flattening, T wave inversion, they are all the important features. Then hyperthermia ECG, you must know that it can lead to widened QRS, longer PR, J waves of Osborne. They are all the important features of hypothermic ECG. This is another favorite question of examiner. SVT versus VT. How will you differentiate? Normally only you can differentiate. Why? VT is broad complex QRS. SVT is narrow complex QRS. But sometimes SVT can be wide if it is due to aberrant conduction. Then how will you differentiate? Typically, the presence of P wave associated with the QRS complex is a one which favors SVD. Absence of capture and fusion beats, RBBB or LBBB morphology if it is there, or if the QRS is less than 0.14, or if there is a normal QRS axis, they are all in favor on ECG that it is basically a case of SVT rather than VT is what you need to remember. So normally SVT narrow complex, but if it is due to aberrant conduction, it lead to broad QRS. Then it become differential for VT. Why it is important to differentiate? If it is VT, your treatment is lidocaine, lignocaine, cardioversion, everything. SVT, adenosine, drugs are different, no? So diagnosis are different, treatment is not same. Rheumatology, neurology are not like that. Diseases are different, diagnosis are different, treatment is same. Either give steroids or multivitamin tablets. There is nothing that is scope left. But in cardiology, arrhythmias, correct diagnosis has a different treatment. Hence it is important to remember. Now doctor, reverse splitting of second heart sound, where do you come across? First A2, then P2. Anything that makes A2 late or P2 early will cause reverse splitting. So that is the reason RBBP, what will it cause? P2 become more late, hence it become more wider second heart sound splitting rather than reversed splitting. Now doctor, primary TB, what do you have? You have hilar lymphadenopathy, upper zone predilection, and paniculitis called erythema nodosum. Any of them can be the features. Should be an answer, doctor. Increased dopamine is an important feature of which condition out of all this? Who will give me correct answer? Confident. If goes wrong, we won't let you write NEET. Huh? Huntington's already applied, NEET. That's right. Guntur, Pradeep, Vizag, SP, Varun, Kakinada, everyone uniformly saying schizophrenia, which is correct. So you must know, doctor, anxiety, whenever we have, what will happen? Norepinephrine shoots, GABA falls, serotonin falls. Depression. Yes? Huntington's also, Huntington's may dopamine increase, no? Yeah, agreed. So that's the reason we are permitting you to take NEET. Then Parkinson is decreased dopamine. But don't tell if we get depression along with anxiety, or due to anxiety we get depression, or we may have an anxiety that we may get depression. So what will happen to the norepinephrine? Opposite will happen. Anxiety will increase, depression will decrease, depends on which is more in you. Now, asbestosis, what does it basically lead to? Okay, doc. End expiratory crackles and finger clumping due to persistent alveolar hypoxia. They are the features of asbestosis. ANA is not positive. The mere presence of plaques is not synonymous with pre-malignant tendency. So asbestos is implicated in malignancy. Now doctor, intestinal TB, it is more common in the HIV positive than in the general population. At the end of discussion we will, I know you have a few queries, we will debate on the specific queries of you. Don't sign out. Amphotericin B, what will it lead to? Hypokalemia. Hypokalemia worsens digoxin toxicity. So amphotericin B, nifedipine, quinidine, they are all known to lead to worsen the digoxin toxicity is what need to be remembered. NREM and night terrors are basically synonymous. Rise of BP, heart rate, penile tumescence, dreaming, they all occur basically in REM sleep. Factitious, when it is very severe you call Munchausen syndrome. There is also a Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where the mother creates in the baby the signs of illness basically. Now how do you differentiate factitious disorder from that of malingering? Favorite test item for the examiner. There is a different motivation between factitious disorder and malingering. Malingering may, they simulate the symptoms to avoid work. Kaam ka chore. Night duty is there, you will get diarrhea. your classmate will do the night duty. But your classmate's girlfriend is alone, she wants a date, the area vanishes. So that since he is on duty, you can always take her for a discotheque. So typically there is an intention behind malingering, not in the factitious disorder. Now, dysphoric premenstrual syndrome. There is often a history of mood and anxiety disorders in these people who have got dysphoric syndrome. Contrary to the popular belief, hormonal disturbances have nothing to do with dysphoric premenstrual symptoms after doing the study. Parietal lobes, why are they important? Our right-left perception, asterognosia, stereognosis, and calculation, all these are parietal lobe, whereas derealization is not the problem with the parietal lobe, rather it is the problem with the temporal lobe. So you must, I left to you the literature, frontal lobe problems, temporal lobe problems, all lobe problems you must carry to the exam hall. Now doctor, nifedipine, it is not used for M. canis. For M. canis, what is the most preferable one? It is the greasefulvin, which is specifically preferred for M. canis. In lichen planus, there is a cicatricial alopecia, not a non-cicatricial. Gudate psoriasis occur in sync with streptococcal throat infection. Now, shoot me an answer, doctor. Which hallucinogen? Anxiety, depression, delusion, visual hallucination, flashbacks and pupillary dilatation. Huh? Cannabis? All of them. That's right. We get the correct answer, but a good attempt. LSD. Even our students of Tirupati are very appropriate about LSD. LSD, anxiety, depression, delusions, hallucinations, flashback. PCP, belligerence, impulsiveness, etc. Marijuana, typically social withdrawal, increased appetite, dry mouth, euphoria, anxiety, paranoid delusions, etc. Now, nitrous oxide is an important part in the mediation of the, is not a part of the mediation of the inflammation. What is meant by zone 2? It is called the dangerous zone, a no man's land where the fibro-osseous tunnels are located. If there is an injury, it is difficult to repair, is what need to be remembered. Contaminated, clean, contaminated, everything you must know the differences. They are all basically MBBS final year surgery questions, shorts. So contaminated, perforated appendicitis like infections. Only for clean, contaminated you need to give perioperative antibiotics. Clean wounds do not need prophylactic antibiotics unless you have a tie-up with the medical shop fellow. You don't need to give antibiotics before doing a surgery on a clean gut. But if somebody had a road traffic accident with the gut coming out of the body, abdomen, you are operating, you require.